Hello and welcome to Goosebumps Bell. Tonight's story begins not with words, but with a sound. A bell echoing through the fog, warning you of what's to come. So, sit back, turn down the light, and prepare for a tale that might just keep you up tonight. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to tell you a spine-chilling story about a Scottish man named Jack Hamilton. He passed away many years ago, but this one night from his life, people still whisper about it in the quiet corners of the Isle of Skye. I heard this story from one of his relatives, and today, I'm going to share it with all of you. The event took place in the late autumn of 1985, on the Isle of Skye, a stunning island in Scotland, though now it's modern and popular among tourists. Back then it was quiet, remote, and soaked in old legends. Jack Hamilton was a primary school teacher in a village school. He also served as a respected member of the local church. People used to come to him for advice, not only for education or prayer, but for guidance in tough times. He had a small farm near Loch. Because of the brackish water nearby, farming wasn't easy. But Jack, being a man of faith and hard work, never gave up. One afternoon, he was out checking on his rice field. His neighbor, Mr. Wallace, came over and asked, "Jack, where should I direct the water from the pump?" Jack replied, "Let it run into my land for now. I'll come later after prayers and redirect it back to yours." So Mr. Wallace did just that. After sunset, Jack attended church for evening prayers, came home, had a light meal, and went to bed early. He reminded himself to get up just before dawn and go out to the field to change the water line. But in the middle of the night, sometime around 12 o'clock, he suddenly woke up. He thought it must be near dawn, and got dressed without checking the clock. He stepped outside. The streets were quiet, with just a cold wind whispering across the stone walls. As he passed by the old market street, he noticed a few laborers playing cards under dim lanterns. He frowned and called out, "Still up at this hour? Don't you lot sleep?" They quickly packed up the cards and said, "Sorry, Reverend, we're done now." Heading home, Jack carried on towards his field. When he arrived, the land was already soaked. Water had reached every corner of the field. He smiled, satisfied, and turned the pump line away, just as he had planned. But right at that moment, a strange voice echoed from the loch. It said, "Throwing it, throwing it." He stopped and shouted into the darkness, "Who's there?" The reply came. A hoarse, chilling voice said, "Me." Then, all of a sudden, came the thunderous noise of two enormous beasts charging at one another. Jack turned towards the sound. In the moonlight, reflected off the water, he saw two giant black bulls running towards each other, much larger than normal bulls, with glowing red eyes. These creatures were no ordinary animal. Jack froze for a moment. Then, remembering his old practice, he pulled out a small pouch of blessed soil, something he always carried for protection. He knelt down and sprinkled the soil in a circle around himself. Then, he began to pray. "O Lord, shield me from what I cannot see. Protect me from evil that walks the night." The bulls continued to charge at each other, circling the spot where Jack sat. But they never crossed the boundary of soil. Every time they got close, they would veer off, snorting and growling. Jack's lips trembled. At times, he couldn't speak. Sometimes he forgot the prayers halfway. But still, he didn't stop. He kept reciting them the best he could. Then, from far across the loch, came the sound of children crying. It was faint at first, then louder, 6 or 7 little girls, weeping in the night air. Then, a voice said softly, "Daddy, Daddy." Jack's eyes widened. That voice, it sounded exactly like Elizabeth, his daughter, who had drowned in that same loch just a year ago. He sat completely still. He knew what this was. In Scottish folklore, there is a tale of creatures called kelpies, dark water spirits that can take the form of your loved ones to lure you into the water and drag you under. Jack didn't panic. He shut his eyes tighter and whispered more prayers. He sat there for what felt like hours, heart pounding, ears full of whispers and footsteps and hoofbeats. Then, from the faraway village church, came the early morning bell, and just like that, everything stopped. The bulls disappeared. The crying faded. The air turned still. Jack slowly stood up. His legs were numb, but he managed to walk back home. He collapsed at the doorstep with a terrible fever. Later that day, a bishop from the church came and performed a spiritual cleansing. He told Jack, "You had a brush with the other side, son. You were lucky to return." Jack recovered after a few days, but he never forgot that night. Even many years later, if you asked him what he saw that evening, he would pause, then simply say, "It wasn't meant for me to understand. but I was spared. What did you think of Jack Hamilton's mysterious night? Let us know in the comments. And if stories like this give you goosebumps, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Stay safe, stay aware.